Hello and welcome to Geek at Play Studio tutorials. In this tutorial, what I want to do is explore more of hypertexture, see other ways we can use it. And here's an example. So what we're going to do, you can notice how it's created animated waves, and I'm using hypertexture material to create those dots. Okay. Also, here's with little animation of the camera, so you can see a little bit from different angles. Of course, this is more as abstract animation, but it's given us interesting ability to look how we control our terrain in another ways. And again, this tutorial it's actually was inspired by tips and tricks that I read in 3D World magazine, I think issue 119, and it was based posted by Eran Dinur. So he's a great developer, and I saw a lot of different tutorials and tips from him. He's one of the deep knowledge of the Vue application, and I also can kind of try to suggest if you want look on that magazine, 3D World magazine. I think it's only the one of the magazine who have very nice tutorials for the Vue application. Of course, some of them from us, from Geek at Play Studio, from Amy, and from other very powerful users of the Vue as well posted there. So let's create our terrain, and I will create fractal terrain. Also, it's called procedural. So I call fractal because it's what we're using, but it's whatever word you like to use, fractal or procedure, it will be referred to the same terrain. Next, what we're going to do, it is open our material editor. We want to be an advanced material editor. And we'll switch our material now to volumetric material. And volumetric material and light and effect tab, the lighting model, we want to switch to hypertexture. So you notice right now, it still have it very solid. So even it's located as volumetric material, the reason is different why it's in this category, because we can manipulate with the density of this material based on altitude. So all other materials, they mostly will have it, maybe some displacement or other ones, but they did not really work with the depth of the material. So in that case, it's why it's in a volumetric material. Okay, next what we're going to do, go to color density, and we'll go to edit this function. And the first part I will show how we can do this with based on tips and tricks from Aaron. So let's go ahead and create new node, and we'll just create noise node. Let's connect our density to this. Next, what we're going to do is switch to the math, and we'll switch to synth wave. Okay, at this point, what we want to do is set 1, 0, 0. You notice we're kind of slicing. Okay, as well, we can go ahead and reduce just slightly. Okay, at this point, if let me go ahead and click preview. So you notice we start slicing through our materials. We do have, however, you notice right here, some distortions. Okay, and we'll work on them. So let's even decrease more. So we have more slices of our terrain. Okay, next things what I want to do, it is you can modify density. Okay, if you wanted to maybe a little bit smaller, which will affect the size of the slicing. Okay, and of course, when we start render, you can go to the better quality. On this case, we will have a better rendering. Also, right here, you notice we have a submaterial. This is will represent the volumetric, the density of our or level of the density is how we control the material will showing. And also we have a submaterial. So in this case, if we want it, you can go ahead and load it. Let's load it some material right here. Okay, we'll take it, just slightly increase. Okay, and here this is actually all from that from tips and tricks. So we'll go right here. And right here you can see it was actually very nice. You can create slice your terrain. So let's do a little bit more on this. And this is when it become fun. When you understand how it's work, So we'll go ahead, oops, edit our material. And I want to replace this material right now with orange wax. Okay. So at that point, we're going and we start adding our density. And one thing, what you understand is how it is working. Remember before we're using distance field, it's from top how much condensed will go down. But now you notice we have it sliced this way. So what's happening if we copy this one? Okay, we'll create a blender and we'll just rotate this. We'll just say, hey, I want on a X. So we create this way. Let's very fast preview what we have. You notice right now we start slicing not just one way, we start slicing X and Y. So what we're controlling with this, it is where the material will display to us. And we said, let's say this one will be in an X and this will be on a Y. So if we add one more, and for example, say I want this one instead be on a Z or height, okay, and we can go ahead, oops, and connect this one as well. And if we change, we want to actually switch to combiner. So we'll have it more nodes to connect it. Okay, in this case, you notice we now have it slicing on all axes. So we have it more, it's almost look like honeycomb, but this is what make it volumetric material or hypertexture, because we're not just modifying surface of our material, we also modifying density of our materials or what is inside, how it will be. And you notice we even remove something like on a middle with hypertexture. So this is what we done. Let me go ahead, delete this one. And this is what we have, just the dots. Again, if we want it, let's save it, this material. We could decrease slightly if you want to produce more. So we'll have it more dots on this case. And let's animate them. Oops, let me close it, this one here. We'll click OK. We'll just slightly increase and move a little bit this way. Next, we'll go to edit this object. So when we edit object, I want to edit my function, and the function simple fractal, I want to switch to open ocean. On open ocean, it is using fractal, but beside that, you notice it's connected to the time. So it's meaning terrain will change in time. And nice, we have it right here, our controls for the waves. And what I want to do, I want to reduce sharpness. So we don't have it cut, it will be more smooth. The same, just reduce a little bit those options. Let's click OK. We'll click OK one more time. And you know what? Now we want animate. Let's click on animate windows. And I want to just select my main camera, add keyframe. We'll take camera and maybe move to 10 seconds if you want it, or 5, whatever you prefer. We'll click another one. And right now, if you start moving, you will notice your terrain will start changing based on a time. If your terrain doesn't change significantly, you want modified. It's what we did. So let's go to edit object. You have a two choices. One, you can remove zero edges. Okay, and other ones also, we maybe want increase a little bit more. And again, in other options. But how I say, be careful when you increase so we don't have it so big cuts off. The sharpness, it's what mostly will have it, those cutting kind of on a middle, but I want strict. We can also increase the wind in. So we'll have it, some changes go right there. Okay, let me, there you go, increase this way. Okay. And again, sometimes before you start click preview, you maybe don't see any changes. But when you start applying, you will notice your wave will modify it. Okay, and again, and when you're done, you will have it with your apply, you have to animate it your waves, and we're using hypertexture in this case materials. Okay, thank you for watching this tutorial from Geek at Play Studio. Please visit us on the web and also look for other resources where you can find nice tips and tricks from other Vue users.